Hi guys, it's Husna Haze, the author of Vertigo, Honor Bound by Blood. Honor Bound by Blood dropped and it's the first installment within the series. So today we're gonna answer some author questions, some book questions, and some questions about aspiring authors or writers. So hopefully I have like some, useful tips. Sorry, you would think I'm like more prepared, but I'm not. Okay, so how does writing affect me? Writing gives me a sense of relaxation, gives me a sense of escapism, gives me a sense of community. When I write and I read other people's books and I get involved into like fandoms and stuff, I'm a bit of a nerd. I find a sense of community, I find a sense of escapism, I find a sense of relaxation. And to be able to do that for others is my main motivation in writing. What do you think are the benefits and disadvantages of using a pseudonym? I think the benefits of using a pseudonym are you have like a bit of privacy, and not only that, I don't know, you can make it like catchy and stuff. For me, I'm using, Husna Haze, my name. For others, they might use pseudonyms for different reasons, but for me, I like my name. What would you recommend as the best way to market your book? Build your social media platform. Have a good book cover. Have good graphics. Have good copy editing. Concise, error-free. I think that's like your book markets itself when the cover is on point. Your book markets itself when it has like a good launch, it has like a good brand behind it. So Honor Bound by Blood obviously is the first installment in a series. So it was decided that the rollout of Honor Bound by Blood would be branding, and that's been done through the series. So pushing the series aspect of that, and not only pushing the series aspect of that, it's like a thing. Like there's many plans for Honor Bound by Blood, for the Vertigo series, and that's really showed in the marketing. But also, I think I've had a bit of an advantage on that sense because I have a degree, an undergrad degree in marketing. So marketing is really my field, search engine optimization, all that stuff. So I've known the importance of visuals. The importance of visuals, like it's peak. Let me just tell you that. How do you maximize your writing time? For me, the way I would maximize my writing time is I always like to know how my book is going to end. I at least like to know like how my story is going to end. So like in the instance of Vertigo Honor Bound by Blood, I know how the series ends. Everybody around me knows how the series ends. It's just like, how are we going to get to that place? So I like to break my characters up into 3 groups: main plot, supporting, B plot, and then extras kind of thing. I like to write my characters first before I write the story, and then write the story around my characters. But I always have a vision of like how it's going to end and roughly what I want to write about. So how I maximize my writing time is by ensuring that I go into it with my characters done, like their lives, their hopes, their dreams, their motivations, and then I write from there. So I would say, like, if I was giving a tip, just make sure that you're using like a method that works for you. For me, I tried storyboarding, it didn't work out. I just do notes when an initial idea comes to me, and then after that I start building characters, you know, these people, their lives, and then I write around that, the story that I initially had. What was the first book that I couldn't put down? What was the first book that I couldn't put down? Oh my god. I have to say, like, I got into more mangas, Inuyasha, graphic novels, I think, and then I went into y'all gonna kill me, but Twilight, Hunger Games. It's so funny now, like now I'm like kind of embarrassed about even like liking the Hunger Games, but not in the Hunger Games, I mean like Twilight. I'm kind of embarrassed about that, but Hunger Games, I liked it, kind of, I don't know. Right now I'm reading the Stormlight Archives. Yeah, the Stormlight Archives. A Clash of Kings. I think that's what's called. Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into like very... I'm gonna have to go back. I think like... There's one book I read as a kid. I still have it around here somewhere. It was like, about like this girl who lived in the hotel. It was like a kid's book. I can't put that down. I've still got it now anyway. Okay, so we're on to the questions about the book now. So what triggered you to write Honor Bound by Blood? So what triggered me to write Honor Bound by Blood was I've always been like a daydreamer, and my friend in high school introduced me to like anime. The first anime I've ever watched was Inuyasha and Sailor Moon. Those were the first two animes I ever watched. Like, I had no idea about animes. I had no ideas about like this whole thing, but my friend was like, watch Inuyasha and watch Sailor Moon, and I just demolished the content, just devoured it all. And then from animes, I realized there was different genres within these animes, and I went from, you know, Sailor Moon, Inuyasha, Death Note, Titan, and then like I went straight into mech animes, and oh my god. Mech animes, I think that's where like my love for sci-fi like developed, and I'm a huge mech genre like girl. Like I will like literally like I stan mech animes, okay? Like I could talk all about them all day, but we're on time. So yeah, I was like really interested in those things, and then I got into like sci-fi, and I got into like, I think Gossip Girl was like around at that time, and you know, I was just like devouring all this stuff, and it helped me. Not only, I'm an introvert, so it helped me like have things to talk about with other people, and like break the ice, sense of community. It helped me make friends, gave me something to talk about, and so like I was just like, one day I finished watching this one particular anime, and then I was like, I watched another particular show, and then like these ideas just came to me about like aliens and like AIs and factions and, you know, big thrones, and I was just like, I couldn't shake it. So I just went on like our family computer, was like old, like back when, like, you know, the computers were like two separate things instead of like that one screen thing now we have, and I just wrote it and I saved it, and then every time it was my turn to go on the computer, because obviously, like, you know, you remember when like you were younger, like you have to share everything, you know, you have like an allotted time to go on the computer, and I did that, and I just kept writing, and then I was just inspired, and then it just spiraled, and then I just wrote this whole book, and I was like, I want to be an author, and I was like, that's what inspired me to write Honor Bound by Blood. I wanted to see people that looked like me in the book. I wanted to create a sense of community. I wanted to create a sense of escapism. Like, I was thinking about these characters, you know, these technologies, everything, like going to bed, waking up. I couldn't shake it, and that's why I started writing. Why I started writing Honor Bound by Blood. That's what inspired me to write it. I wanted to open up a book and see people that looked like my friend group, like girls that talked like my friend group. You know, I don't know, it was like this weird time, like the 2000s, of like shows that were like so iconic, but at the same time it was like I never saw myself in them. And it's like, it was so weird. Like, I remember like watching Gossip Girl one time, and I was just like, all my friends, we watched Gossip Girl. We would like come to school the next day and just start talking about Gossip Girl, talking about the Vampire Diaries. We'd like start talking about like all the different like TV shows we were like watching, and the different movies and everything, and then like we would like all laugh like, ha ha ha, like nobody looks like us, oh my gosh, like I've never seen like a girl who like literally like just looks like us, or like I've never seen like a boy that like just looks like us, like normal people. Like all these people were just like madly beautiful. And you know, we like kind of related to the characters, kind of didn't relate to the characters, and it was just like this weird dichotomy, like this weird like twilight zone that we were in. And like I just started writing Honor Bound by Blood, and I wrote characters who came from different backgrounds, but I wrote it in a way that reflected my reality, not doing it in a sense of it's trendy. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I wrote it in like, I look through my phone right now, and you know, there's my mate, and you know, just like the world I see, just not just because it's like trendy. Oh, it's trendy, like no. I wrote about all these different characters in there from different backgrounds, from different cultures, because it's my reality, and it's my mate's reality. And also, I'd never seen sci-fi quite like this, I think. So that's why I did it as well. What would I say was the hardest scene that I've written and the most fun? I think the hardest scene that I've written has to be the end. In blood. Oh my gosh, in blood was like hard to write. But even before in blood, was like hard to write. But the funnest scenes for me to write, it's not like such a scene, it's like just scenes to write, were the action scenes. I really enjoyed writing this. I really did. Which character was the hardest for me to flesh out? I have to say, like, the hardest character for me to flesh out, I think it'll be doing like all the characters a disservice. I think they all have some difficulties in fleshing them out in some way. It's not just like a one character thing. I think these characters have their own journeys, they have their own personalities, they have their own hopes, they have their own dreams, they have their own agendas and motives, and they all have their own difficulties in bringing that to the reader. I would have to say though, the way I describe Honor Bound by Blood, or the Vertigo series, is high society on steroids. Literally high society on steroids. I have to say that the hardest is kind of all of them, only because these characters are like super rich. They kind of live in like this bubble of aristocrats, and you know, I've never been like I've never been like super rich, out of touch you know, person, and those characters are, and I just think it was kind of hard for me to relate to those. So I was going off of not stereotypes, but kind of like what people think when it comes to like rich people. But like catapulting that into like 2095 in this like alternate timeline universe thing where everybody's just like out of touch. Because I think all the characters have a level of arrogance to them, because I think you have to have that level of arrogance to you if you grow up in that kind of environment, because you don't know what's outside of your gilded gates. So I think there's a certain level of like out of touchness, to be honest with you. So that was hard to write, but having to write these characters, I kind of like developed a new kind of, not sympathy or understanding, but like now it's like I think I'm of the mindset that rich people just have like a certain level of like out of touchness, of like arrogance, just because it's like they don't live their lives in the realm of like ordinary people like me and you. And I think like if you grow up in that, it's only natural that there's going to be some level of you that's totally like that. Do you know what I mean?